Hey everyone, Christos here and welcome back for another video. Now today I'm going to be talking about something that I personally think every single parent should be doing for their children from the second that they are born. Now, hold up a second. What gives me the right to tell you what you should be doing for your kids? Well, nothing really, but what if I told you that if you invested just £25 a week during the time that they are living at home, you could present to them a cheque that's worth £60,556.79 on their 18th birthday? Would that spark your interest? Well, if so, then stick around because today I'm going to be sharing everything that you need to know about the Junior ISA and how you can start investing into it today to build a solid foundation for your children's financial future. All I ask from you guys is if you are interested in this, then make sure you hit that like button down below as it will help get this video out to more people. But having said all of that, let's get straight into it. Okay, so let's start things off by talking about exactly what is a Junior ISA and why are they so great. And basically, a Junior ISA is simply just an ordinary savings account that is within a tax-free wrapper. This simply means that any interest or dividends that you earn from this account is going to be completely tax-free. From there, you have two types of accounts that you can actually get. Number one, you have the standard cash Junior ISA. This is where you would just take a very small set interest on any money that you save straight into the account. And then secondly, you have what we're going to be focusing on today, which is the stocks and shares Junior ISA. This is where your savings will be invested maybe into either a fund that can potentially bring you a much higher interest rate in the future. Just like with adult ISAs, you can hold both of these at the same time, but the most you can contribute across the two is going to be £9,000. For example, if you did want to go ahead and open both accounts, you could essentially put £6,000 into the cash ISA and then £3,000 into the stocks and shares ISA every single year. So every time the new tax year comes around, that £9,000 gets either reset or maybe the government may review it and increase it in the future. But right now it's currently set at £9,000. When it comes to talking about who is actually eligible to have this ISA, the answer is very self-explanatory, of course, but it's simply going to be an adult that has a child that is number one, under the age of 18, of course, that's where the Junior ISA comes from. And then the second thing is they need to be living within the UK. Having said that, when it comes to opening one of these accounts, the process is actually also very simple. The first thing that you need to do is, of course, decide what ISA you want to open. We already have spoken about that, whether you want to open a stocks and shares one or a cash ISA. And then secondly, you will actually need to go ahead and choose an account provider. When it comes to choosing an account provider, most banks and building societies will offer these, but my best advice is to shop around because the rates that you're going to get, especially if you're going for a cash ISA, is definitely going to vary across the different building societies and banks that you go for. Now, a couple just to take a look at that I've searched on Google would be the Loughborough Building Society. They have a junior cash ISA. You also have Halifax, which is a really well-known bank, of course, and then you've even got Tesco's who offer their own junior ISA as well. Now, if you have decided to go for the standard cash ISA, once you have added your cash to your account, your work is essentially now done because all you're doing is adding your cash to the account and then the interest rate that you have been given is going to take an effect on the money that you have in that account over the set amount of years. But if you have gone for a stocks and shares ISA, you will need to pick what type of investment that you want to make, and that's what we're going to talk about next. And basically, when it comes to the types of investments that you can make into your junior stocks and shares ISA, you essentially have three different options, and they are as follow. Number one, you have individual shares that you can invest into. The second thing that you can invest into is something called a fund, and then the third thing that you can invest into is bonds. Normally, what you would typically see is individual shares being the riskiest type of investments that you would make, and then if you wanted to invest into something less riskier, normally bonds would be the option. However, the one that I really like are funds, which are essentially like a group of individual stocks that has just been put into one basket. For example, the largest investment that I actually personally make within my own account is into an S&P 500 fund, where essentially I get the largest 500 companies in the United States in that one fund. So basically what I'm doing is every time I invest into that fund, I am getting myself a small slice of 500 different companies. Now, as you can probably imagine, investing into 500 different companies is going to be much safer and more diversified than putting all your eggs into one basket with just the one company with an individual share. Just sticking with this fund as well, this fund has also given me an average return of 15% interest over the past 5 years. And when you compare it to the Cash ISA's best offering that I could find anyway of 2.5%, you can tell why I think the Stocks and Shares ISA is the better option. Can you remember the £60,000 check that I mentioned at the start of this video? Well, if you did, that's what you would get if you would have invested £25 a week into an investment that returned 10% over that 18-year period every single year, because what you are then doing is taking advantage of compound interest over a long period of time. However, whilst everything I just said there all sounds absolutely amazing, one thing that you must remember is that past performance doesn't always mean future performance will be the same in the Stocks and Shares ISA, and that is actually one benefit of the Cash ISA, because you are locked into a percentage, and albeit a very low percentage, it was never going to actually change over that period of time. So if taking any kind of risk is something that you do not want to do and you're happy to take that lower interest rate, then maybe investing into the Cash ISA is going to be better for you. For me personally, investing into a Cash ISA is something I would never do now that I'm more educated in the stock market, because even investing into an index fund, especially the one that I talked about, the top 500 companies in the United States, for your investment to go to zero, the top 500 companies in America would have to absolutely disappear off the earth. And if something like that happened, you would have a lot more to worry about than simply just investing £25, £50 a week into a junior ISA. So if you did decide to go ahead and go for the Stocks and Shares Junior ISA, which is the one that I highly recommend as well, picking the right investment is going to be an extremely important step of this, and you will likely have to do a little bit of your own research. Now, if you do find yourself struggling, then make sure you do go ahead and check out my investing playlist on my channel, as I talk through lots of different options that you can take on. And another thing is to also join my free investing Discord group, where we actually have a dedicated channel and section for funds inside that. Both of the links for these will be in the description below. Make sure you go and check those out after the video. But having said that, what I'm going to quickly touch on now is actually a couple of the small considerations that you must take in before you actually open your first ever junior ISA. And the first thing that I want to talk about is actually who has control of the money in this account. Well, as the parent or guardian, it's actually going to be your responsibility to open and manage that account. Of course, you are going to have to be the one that funds it and does all of that good stuff. However, the money that actually exists in that account legally does belong to the child. Now, don't worry, they won't be able to keep withdrawing their money out every single year to buy the latest FIFA game or anything like that, because they can't actually take control of the account until they are 16 years old. And then from there, they can't actually withdraw any money until they are 18. However, when they are 18, they can essentially take that money out and do whatever they want with it from a legal point of view. Obviously, you could potentially convince them to not go and spend it on anything stupid, but from a legal point of view, they could essentially take that money out and spend it on whatever they wanted, and there wouldn't be anything you could do with it. What I fully plan to do with my future child, if I ever have one, is to make sure that during those initial 18 years of their life, I educate them about the stock market and how powerful it can be. And hopefully by then, given that the school system maybe changes and helps people understand finances a little bit more as well, they will actually continue to invest some of that money themselves in maybe an adult ISA, or maybe even spend it on something useful like a property. But all in all, that is the Junior ISA explained, which is a fantastic way to start building wealth for your child for when they are older without putting too much financial stress on yourself. Now, I hope this video maybe helped you. If it did, please do drop us a like down below, as that does help this YouTube channel out. And of course, sign up to that free investing Discord group. Also, the link is going to be in the description. But having said all that, I'll catch you guys in the next video. Take care.